Okay, so I guess everybody is a bit busy with their assignments this week, and this week is already week 11. So we are basically covering the third week of the mass transport, and then there will be only one remaining week where I have lectures, and then after that we will go into the final take-home test 2. Then that we will conclude the transfer phenomena basically. So in this week we are going into a bit a higher form of the mathematical model that comes in the mass transport problem. It's basically involving partial differential equations. Okay, there are two materials that I gave in the canvas. There is a diffusion into a falling liquid film. One is the same. Both examples are the same. It's both involving a diffusion into a falling liquid film. Okay, one is gas adsorption. So a gas is actually absorbed into a falling liquid film. The other one is actually a solid diffused into a falling liquid film. Okay, in both cases, the similarity is that when we do the mass balance, then we will end up with having the partial differential equations. Okay, so let's consider the first problem in here. The first problem in my lecture recording, I give much more comprehensive coverage into the first example. The second example is about the same. So I mean, without the lecture recording, then you should be able to basically deduct the same steps and then go into those derivation yourself. So imagine that we have a forced convection mass transfer case where a viscous flow and diffusion occurs. So viscous flow in here refers to the liquid. That basically the flow is from the top of the film in here. Then in here we take basically a cut from the systems with the length of L in here. Okay. The velocity field in here can be considered unaffected by the diffusion. So diffusion does not affect the momentum transport or basically the velocity of the system. In this case, it is best represented by the absorption of a gas A by a laminar falling film of liquid B. So if you consider this picture in here, then we have A in here that basically exists as a gas, and in here the liquid in here is represented by the liquid B. Two assumptions that we have in here is that the material A is only slightly soluble in B, so that the viscosity of the liquid becomes unaffected. And the diffusion takes place so slowly in the liquid film that A will not penetrate very far into the film. So in saying this, the concentration profile of A does not change much into the film in here. So you will expect that A does not diffuse too much into, so that it basically can reach the end of the film in here. No, it's not. It's only the diffusion will take place very slowly. So the penetration distance will be very small in comparison to the film thickness. The film thickness is imply the distance from here to here. So from the wall up to the interface between the liquid and the gas. Example that is represented by this is the absorption of oxygen in water. As we know from the momentum transport example, the velocity profile for the film is given by these equations in here, where Vmax should be multiplied by 1 minus x divided by the film thickness raised to square in here. Okay. In saying this, meaning that the velocity increase from the interface with the wall to the interface with the gas in here. Okay, as it is shown by the parabolic velocity profile in here. Okay, so now we go with the mass balance on component A. In taking the mass balance for component A, we're taking an intersections between delta X and delta Z, because the mass transport occurs in the directions of X and also occurs in the directions of the Z. So that means your elemental volumes will be represented by this thin slab in here, which is basically an intersection between the slab of thickness delta x with the slab of the thickness delta z in here. And then you can do a mass balance on A over the segment of the film of width W in here. Okay, then you need to inspect. The first one is the Z, basically the molar flux in the Z directions. So in this regard is NaZ. So the one that is going up to down. So from this direction to this direction. So you multiply NaZ inspected at Z multiplied by the W multiplied by the delta X. So the surface area that is perpendicular to the molar flux in the Z directions. One is inspected at Z, the other one is inspected at Z plus delta Z. Okay, and then we then inspect the molar flux in the X direction. So the one that is going from the left to the right in here. Then we multiply with the surface area that is perpendicular to that particular molar flux. In here it's W multiplied by delta Z. So you inspect it at X and then the minus the one at X plus delta X. Okay, then this 2 is equal 0 because we don't have any chemical reactions that give us a production term or a consumption term or any other mass transport that basically related with the production and consumption. After that, then we divide by W delta X delta Z. If we do so, what we can get in here is basically two terms. So the del NaZ over del Z, del NaX over del Z. Then we go back into our combined molar flux term, which contains the diffusion term in here and then the convection term in here. Okay, so this is very important because we need to basically start on connecting this particular form with the assumptions that we make in here. In this regard, let's inspect the one on the Z direction. So if we inspect the one on the Z directions, we know that this will involve the movement from the top to the bottom. In the movement from the top to the bottom, the first term becomes negligible because the diffusion will be much less compared to the convection term. So the convection term from the top to the bottom will be the dominant term. Okay, then this can be neglected with respect to this one. So only the second term will be retained for this particular molar flux in the Z directions. Okay, then the second term in here can be replaced by the concentrations multiplied by the velocity. The velocity in here is dependent on the X directions. Okay, then we inspected the molar flux in the X directions. In the X directions, we also have the same two terms. The first one is the molecular contributions. The second one is the convection contributions. So that will be related with the molar flux from the left to the right in the X direction. So imagine that the gas is basically diffusing from the from the interface of the gas to liquid to the liquid in here, basically to the directions where it will approach the wall. Okay, so in the directions, then there is no convections, there is no velocity of the liquid because the liquid is basically moving from the top to the bottom. So we only have the molecular contributions in here. Okay, so the second term in here can be neglected because in the X directions, the diffusions of A basically occurs through the diffusion terms in here. Okay, imagine that your convection, there is no convections because basically the liquid is basically flowing from the top to the bottom. Okay, then you only retain this first term in here. When you retain the first term in here, it can be this can be, I mean, you can change this one into this term in here. Okay, so now you have simplified the molar flux for the A in the Z directions and the molar flux in the X directions. You insert it back into these equations in here, then you will get this. And then now you inspected the first term in here. you see that the Vz in here is actually only a function of x. So you can move it out of this del over del z in here. So the Vz in here can become out because it is not a function of z. If it is a function of z, then it cannot be taken out simply from this derivative with respect to z. Okay, and then this dAB in here, we assume that it is a constant. Then we can derive this del CA over del x with respect to del over del x in here. Then after doing all these things, then we will get these final equations in here, which is a partial differential equation, because you see that you have this del CA over del z, which is the first order derivative term, and then you have this del square CA over del x square, which is the second order derivative with respect to x, with the boundary conditions, with the three boundary conditions in here. Because you have the first order derivative with respect to z and then the second order derivative with respect to x, that means you have to have three boundary conditions to solve your partial differential equations. The first partial differential equation basically expresses the condition that the film consists of pure B at the top. So when you are talking about the liquid surface in here at the top, then at this particular position, then the liquid is free from A. So Ca will be equal to 0 at z equal 0. Okay, and then the second boundary condition, x equals 0, Ca is equal Ca naught. So we are talking about the particular surface area where x equals 0, okay, which is the interface between the gas and the liquid in here. So at this particular positions in here, then the concentrations of A will be equal to the solubility of the A in liquid. A in here is the gas, okay? So that will be Ca equals Ca naught. And then the third boundary conditions at x equal the film thickness. Since we are taking the position of 0, 0, 0 at this particular position, at x equal film thickness, that means it will imply the particular surface area where the liquid is in contact with the wall. Okay, at that particular position, then there is no diffusions of A through the wall. So the derivative of the Ca with respect to x will be equal to 0. This actually comes from the Fick's law, because if you see that the molar flux at the end will be equal to 0, then you will be able to derive that the derivative of the Ca with respect to x will be equal to 0. To solve this particular partial differential equation is quite complex, and it is involving it involves the final solution in the form of the infinite series. Okay, it has been derived previously analytically, and you can refer to the other books to full solutions. In here, we will not discuss the full solution. We will just discuss an asymptotic solution. So asymptotic solution in here indicates a limiting expression that is valid only for the short contact times, which is valid for the small values of L divided by X max. So L in here is referring to this length of the length of your film. Okay, if L divided by delta by Vmax is short, then this expression that we will derive in here will be valid. Okay, so what do we mean by this one? So it means that if we have a very short contact times, then the species A only has short penetration distance into the film. Okay, when I meant by the short penetration distance means that the concentration change will be over the very short distance of the film. So it will be far away from reaching the wall in here. Okay, even though the concentration change will occur in here, as you express, this will be a function of x and then a function of z in here. As you can see, the concentration profile of A in here is different at this particular z with at this z as well. So it means that we are dealing that the species A has the impression that the film is moving throughout with the velocity equal to V max. If we take these particular arguments, then we can get rid of this 1 minus x divided by the film thickness square terms in here. because then the film can be taken as constant in here. If we get rid of this term in here, then the solutions will be a bit more easier. So we end up with the Vmax del Ca over del Z equal to the AB del square Ca over del X square. And then we can also manipulate the boundary conditions slightly with respect to the original boundary equations in here. Okay, so for the first boundary condition is the same. The second boundary conditions is the same, but for the third BC, we can change it. Instead of basically subjecting the BCT through del Ca over del X equals 0, then we can take that at X equal infinite, then Ca will be equal to 0. Okay, so in here we can take that it's equal infinite because basically the concentrations will not reach this particular positions in here. So it will be infinite, where Ca is equal to 0. Okay, then you can notice that you have asymmetrical boundary conditions at BC1 and BC3. So at Z equals 0, the Ca equals 0, and then at X equal infinite, the Ca is equal to 0. So for this particular conditions where the boundary conditions has symmetrical value, then we can use a method of the combination of variables to solve this. Okay, in here we will not show you how we derive these things, but it's just important for you to be able to basically understand that all the steps that is involved in here. Okay, so we take two, we define a dimensionless concentration and a dimensionless distance in here. The first dimensionless concentration is defined as this, with the symbol, and then it's equal to Ca divided by Ca naught. The dimensionless distance in here is where basically we lump X and Z in here. That's why we said we are combining a variables. So X appears on the numerator while Z appears on the denominator in here. Okay, then we basically plug this back into the original PDE in here, and then after substituting all the terms in here, and we need to be careful in here because it involves the derivations of this dimensionless distance with respect to X and the dimensionless distance with respect to Z. And then after putting all the chain rules into the original PDE, we can basically recover these equations in here. Okay, with these equations in here, we can then define another variables in here which is equal to this derivative, and then we can solve and integrate this with respect to this. And then I took the right hand side, I equalize this K1 equal to ln C1 because I want to mimic the same form in the left hand side in here. Okay, once I do that thing, then I will be able to get these things in here, and then I can integrate. When I integrate this thing, then I get these final expressions in here. Like I said again, BC1 and BC3 basically lump becoming one boundary conditions in here. Whereas for BC2, we have another boundary conditions in here. Okay, when we put these things in here, then we can get that after we put in the BC1 and BC3 and BC2, we will get that C2 is equal 1. Okay, and then we note from the mathematical handbook that the error function Z is expressed as 2 divided by the root square of pi integrated from 0 to Z exponential minus t square dt. So error function Z is approaching 1 for Z approaching infinite. Okay, so you get this particular definitions in here. So if we define that our C2 is equal 1, then C1 should be equal to this value in here. Once we put back in here, okay, then we will be able to basically define that this particular dimensionless concentration will be equal to 1 minus error functions of the dimensionless distance in here. So then we can recover our concentration profile of the Ca with respect to the Ca naught. Okay, And then 1 minus the error function of this will be equal to the complementary error functions of this term in here. In derivations of these things, then you need to go through slowly and basically check everything carefully. And then you note that basically an integrations from 0 to 0 should be equal to 0. Because you basically, the integrations of a function, it's equal to the area. So if you integrate something, for example, from a 1 to 1, then there is no area below that integral. So that means your area will be equal to 0. So this is why this particular term in here will be equal to 0, so that you can recover C2 equal 1. So those particular mathematical process only become apparent once you look carefully and derive yourself. Okay. Once we get the dimensionless concentration profile, then we can determine the local mass flux at the gas-liquid interface. So the local mass flux at the gas-liquid interface is basically the mass flux at these particular positions in here at x equals 0. Okay. So that means you want to get an AX at x equal 0, which is equal to this. Then you basically do a chain rule, and then you derive this with respect to the dimensionless concentration. You derive the dimensionless concentration with respect to the dimensionless distance, and then you derive the dimensionless distance with respect to x. Once you get these things, then you can basically substitute the value of x equal 0. Then you will get this form in here. Okay. Then the total molar flow of A across the surface at x equals 0 will be equal to the integrations of integral of 0 to W, integral 0 to L of these terms in here. And then we can split this dy, because dy is not a functions of z. Okay. On the other hand, this NAX at x equals 0 is a functions of z, because z that do appear in this particular expressions in here. So as I showed in here, then you will be able to get this WA. And then the thing that you can deduct from here is that the mass transfer rate is directly proportional to the square root of the diffusivity and inversely proportional to the square root of the exposure time, as is suggested by this particular expressions. Okay. Then if we move into the next example in here, it's almost the same, except in here, instead of the gas absorption, this will basically involve the dissolutions of the wall of this particular solid in here. Okay. And we are only considering the sections of the solid wall from between 0 to L. Okay. So the wall from the sections to the sections in here, we are dealing with the insoluble wall. Okay. Then we need to use the velocity distribution that we derive the first time in our momentum transport example. Okay. If we derive everything in here, and then note that in this particular configurations, then the flow is vertical, so it makes 90 degrees angle to the horizontal directions. Okay, so we need to put in this 90, and then in here we define that x is equal this minus y. Okay, so we are dealing with this, and then we put in everything that basically reflect the connections with the formula that we derive for the first example of the momentum transport. Once we put everything in here, then we have an assumptions that we know that y divided by this film thickness should be raised to square will be much less than the y divided by the film thickness. So we can simplify that the velocity in the z directions of the fluid will be equal to this ay. Okay, and a is equal to this. Again, we can use the previous differential equations with the same boundary conditions in here. Okay, then we do this basically the same things, but we use a different variables in here. Okay, in here we use we define it as an F, the dimensionless concentrations, and then Y come out in here, and then Z come out in the denominator basically. Okay, once we get all these things, then you may ask why this have the form of CA divided by CA naught, and then why this thing has the form of this, and it's basically just a mathematical manipulations. So you can basically do the mathematical manipulations using the chain rule to come up with a simplified dimensionless variables lump that will give you the most simple mathematical expressions. If you do everything as is shown in here, then you will recover this final differential equations that you can use the boundary conditions in here. As I mentioned earlier, the first boundary conditions in here is the same with the third boundary conditions in here. That's why we can use it for the method of, we can use a method of combination of variables. Okay. Once we do everything in here, then we will get this F in here, and then using the BC1 and BC3, we will get this C1, and then after plugging in into the BC2, then we will be able to basically get that the C2 is equal 1. So then we will get C1 is equal to this, and then we will be able to get the expressions for the concentrations. Okay. In here, you need to know that the integrations of the 0 to infinite of this term in here minus the integrations of this 0 to mu, for example, exponent of this will be equal to the integrations of mu to infinite in here. This is basically just equal to the, if you have area from 0 to infinite minus the area from 0 to a, then it will be equal to the area in between a to infinite. Okay, so this can, you need to think in more simple terms. So you need to basically visualize what the mathematical term in here means, because for some people it may be difficult to digest why this can become this. Okay. Then this particular terms in here can be defined in terms of this. If we go into the mathematical table book, then it will be equal to this particular term in here. So then we can basically convert this 0 to infinite of this term is 3. So when we put this n is equal 3 in here, 1/3, then this will be equal to this term in here. Okay, and then we can derive the next is the local mass flux at the wall. And then we can also derive the mass flow of A across the entire mass transfer surface at y equal 0. Okay. Although this is quite, this example has to be covered because this is a part of your mass transport, but you don't have to, I mean, unless if in the assignment I will take out those partial differential equations, I will test it, but in your take-home test too, I don't think I will go and test you up to that level of the partial differential equation because they are quite complex and I don't want to create difficulty for you. So the main important thing for you to get from the example is that you go through this example and try to understand the mathematical derivations and the formulations, but because it's a part of the transfer phenomena. Okay, but I will not basically feature those type of problems in your take-home test, so you don't have to worry too much. Okay. Other than refreshing that thing, then is there any questions, Fernando, regarding anything or regarding your assignment too? Anything you would like to ask for today's drop-in session? Hello? Fernando, are you there?
Yes, sir. No question, sir.
Hello?
Hello.
You can turn on your mic. No, you don't have to worry to me. Okay. No, all
I have
clear.
done.
I guess if there is nothing and it's only one participant because you are busy and the other people are busy with their assignment and everything, then this is where I will conclude, unless if you have any questions. But there is no any questions, right? No?
No, sir.
Okay, then I will just be waiting for your if you need, you can ask me any questions, or you can schedule any meeting with me. Okay, other
Okay,
than that, then I will basically conclude the sessions here. Okay.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Please stay safe and take care, Fernando.
Yeah, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Hopefully we can see. I can see you face to face next year. Okay. Thank you
Okay,
for
sir.
attending this today's session.
Thank you, sir.
I'm stopping my recording here.
Okay.